Tight ends, I gave a B. Okay. What the Jets were doing, all the Jets were doing is running man. This was primarily running man coverage, cover one. That's what they were doing. And what they end up doing is, well, if Mosey don't see Patrick taking off, then they'll double up Kelce. Okay, they'll bracket him and make sure they cover that middle part. Okay, and kind of take away that area, that lane that Kelce loves to really strive in. And so part of the problem, I know we talk about the wide receivers not getting open. Okay, I know we talk about some of the things that they're not necessarily doing. Some of the routes that they run are not very creative. It's like a 5 or 6 yard curl route, and then it's undressed. That's what you try to do, right? Uncover. That's what you're doing, and it's a scramble drill. And so they're almost banking on that. They'll get there in the window, sitting there. Okay, you make a decision who you want to cover, and then let's uncover. Let's go find us another hole or window to get into, and that's how they hit them. And so that one that Patrick, the first interception he threw last night, 2 guys in that position, two Chiefs in that area, and 4 defenders. 4. That bad decision. And I'm sitting there looking like, where is he throwing to? And there wasn't nobody on the other side. That's the thing about it. Like, as far as like the spacing on the field, there wasn't any spacing. And so when you condense the field to a certain area, and then he only has a certain option to throw the football and then maybe take off, that's very tough to do. At that point, you either throw it away or the check down is going to come right now. And even had the check down. Check down was covered. So at that point, man, you just got to eat it, throw it away. And Pat said it was on him. He knew it was on him. Same thing, the second interception, okay? The same thing. Cover one, cover Kelce. Mosley drops back. He falls into that little, a little area. Pat just he didn't have enough on it, man. He knew as soon as he threw it, I'm trying to force this throw. He forced it. Yeah. He forced the throw. And he's like, and he knows, like, that's a bad decision. It's a bad decision by Pat. He wish he had both of those balls back, because that was a bad decision on him. I ain't seen PM15 make those 2 bad decisions like that, like in that course of a game. I don't think ever, to be honest with you.
He also had that miscue with Kelce, what we talked about in the postgame show last night, where he thought Kelce was going back out.
Yeah.
Was that Mosley or was it Quincy Williams?
It was Mosley. It was Mosley, because he was about to cross Mosley's face, and he was going to go back, but Pat thought he was going to cross his face. He thought he was going to get in front of him. It's just a wide juke. It's a wide option, whatever you want to call it, okay? Tight end option. You got that linebacker one-on-one, right? Because it's man, okay? Now you just win. But I think a lot of it had to do with also, too, kind of getting Patrick in the rhythm, right? Some of that could have been the play calling. It definitely could have. And so if you're running the football, which, we're not used to having success running the ball like we did last night. And so, the offensive coach is like, well, let's go back to it. And then so Pat is not like, okay, I'm not necessarily making the throws. And then when we, the routes that we're running is come on, man. These routes are not routes to win on one-on-one, on man. You're not giving them anything. You're not giving them digs. You're not giving them comebacks. It's like a little curl. So you make it easy for the defense to just sit right there on it. Just sit. And then he's going to uncover, right? So we talked about that. Robert Silence, like he's used to seeing Pat. He knows how to at least defend some of the things that we do well. Okay. So they had to give him,
If you look at Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl with when we played against the Niners, they made life difficult for Mahomes in that game.
Yeah, they did. And so you can see a lot of what that philosophy was last night. The same. Okay. Why? Because if you think about it, the Jets D-line, linebackers, and corners, secondary, are very, very tight to what the San Fran has in itself, right? They do. And so if you have somewhat the same personnel, you can run almost the same defense. And so if you know that you've only had success against a guy, why not run it again? Especially if you know some of the tendencies, okay, that we know. Everybody was talking about Pat being hurt also too. Pat wasn't hurt. Pat wasn't hurt no more than what he's ever been as far as, coming off and stuff like that. When Pat was talking about his feet just wasn't right last night. He was retreating a lot. He was just kind of running, and he was going east and west. That's what he's running. He wasn't running north to south. And so when he started killing them, was actually running north to south on these guys. That's where he was able to really do some damage against the Jets defense. But if you start going east and west, trying to, keep the play going, that was tough. That's what they wanted you to do. Because, more side is that's tough for any quarterback.
JD, so another thing I've been hearing a lot as we're talking tight ends is Kelce. People online are starting to say he's starting to look in as far as speed wise. He's starting to have the speed of a guy who's, getting up there in years, 33, 34. Do you think he's lost some of his wiggle, or are we still, because you've dealt with these injuries before, the knee injury he had. Is this a possibility that he still has not recovered from that knee injury? Because I don't think a guy is just going to lose it, just like that. Going from his numbers he had last year, all of a sudden the next year a fall off like that. I don't believe that. I think it must be contributive of the injury. You think that's what it is?
It's more so the injury than more than anything else. And I think that's what it is, because when you're talking about planting, going and turning, and as much as he makes guys miss with his legs, if you hinder one of those things from happening, right, that's going to be a significant part of his game. It really is. It's going to be a significant part of his game. So it's not about him missing a step and all that. But look, we know Kelce's going to get older. That's just father time. It's how these things work. So that's always the question is, okay, your number one guy who has done everything, okay, set almost every record, and 1,000 yards here and 100 catches here every year. And he's doing a tremendous job. When are you going to put a supporting cast around him so he doesn't have to keep putting it all on his shoulders? Right? And I think that's what me and you wanted to address this offseason, Marcus. We was talking about that. We're talking about getting a veteran guy in here to kind of take some of that off of Kelce, because if you keep doing it, you're just going to keep running him into the ground.
Yeah.
But you constantly have to rely on him. And look, Noah Gray does a great job coming in, but he's not Travis Kelce. He's not. So he's not being hindered by old age. It's not that right now. Okay, it isn't. So it's the guys around him got to do a much better job. Okay, they got to put some of that weight on their shoulders.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.